Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 4 or 5 brawlers who I believe has fallen off a lot in the meta, whether that's with balance changes, just meta shifts, everything like that. And the first brawler is going to be Lily. So quickly before we jump into, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. We're trying to get close to 400k. So Lily, I think Lily isn't a bad brawler. Of course, she's going to fall off a little bit because of that damage nerf, but I think it just did a lot more than people realize. Like before in 1v1s, you just shredded everything. Now you definitely have to be a little bit more careful in your matchups. She still can delete a lot of brawlers in the game, but there are some big counters. I think the thing that's definitely carrying her the most is definitely the gadget. Without a gadget, should be like an F tier brawler still, in my opinion. I think the damage nerf, as I said, has definitely caught up to her, but she's still like okay as a late pick. Again, I'd just rather go a different late pick, whether it be Daryl, whether it be Mortis, whether it be anything like that. I just think her role as an assassin has just got worse and worse. And yeah, this game has been pretty easy because I've just spammed gadgets galore. But I think if the enemies literally had some brain cells, or they're just from voice chat, or they're communicating in any shape or form, they'll be able to keep on track of Lily. They'll be able to group up. And I just find myself really struggling to have really good Lily matchups. I know somehow I had a really good game there, but to be fair, they were playing BB, so it was pretty easy. So yeah, I think Lily has definitely dropped off. I would start to say she's going towards the B tier, maybe even towards the C tier. But again, late pick, she can be good because of the gadget. Let's jump into another one. Right, guys, jumping into the next brawler I believe has fallen off a lot with this meta. It has to be Jessie. So again, these types of videos aren't just saying this brawler is downright terrible, because I think this is actually a pretty balanced meta in comparison to other ones. It's only really the Mo that's the biggest outlier. But I was saying, Jessie definitely has fallen down a lot. I think the main reason being is a couple of the meta brawlers. So you think of most maps that she's good on, I think throwers are just literally way better. So throwers are just able to counter Jessie way too easily. Again, as more brawlers get hypercharges, you just realize time and time again that, you know, her hypercharge is decent, but it's just more so the fact that she cycles it quickly. That's like by far the best thing about it. Everything else is just a bit lackluster. So I mean, she's usable if you're just playing ranked, and for the most part you're going to have a good success rate with Jessie, especially in heist, because a lot of people are just noobs. Like your average player are just down bad and they won't be able to cope with Jessie. But I think again, at pro level, she's just not being used as much anymore, and it definitely is a big concern, because she used to always be that go-to brawler, whether it be in like hot zone, whether it be in gem grab, sometimes on grassier maps, whether it be on Brawl. I just think I find myself using her less and less. Again, this is an easy matchup because I don't think I was playing up against the best of players, and I was facing Chuck, so Jessie's good into that. But again, you think of some of the meta brawlers, you think of like Daryl, who can just destroy Jessie in a 1v1. You think of Mo as well, those two brawlers destroy. You think of throwers, Berry, Barley, Larry, they just destroy Jessie on good Jessie maps. It's just hard for Jessie to really do anything, so she's starting to go near the B tier. Again, maybe even creeping towards the C tier, so she's just a bit meh at the moment. So let's jump into the next one. Alright guys, jumping into the next brawler who I believe has probably fallen off the most out of everyone on this list. It has to be Miko. So I just don't see Miko whatsoever in the meta anymore. I just don't see anyone last pick him. I don't see him on ladder. I just don't see him anywhere, but specifically ranked, he has definitely fallen off. So again, there's a few key reasons to this. I think a big reason that people just don't talk about enough is just how terrible Miko's hypercharge is. I still get people tell me that they're under the pressure, but sometimes they can get value. I've been doing videos and stuff probably past month. I probably played about, well, not 10 kills. I've probably done about 10 Miko hypercharges. I've probably hit an opponent once, and that surely isn't a skill issue. Normally, people just run away. They either just, you know, suicide and just get out of where the radius is of the stun. I just don't really like the hypercharge whatsoever. It takes so long to charge up. That's a big reason. Of course, another big reason is the fact that Miko is just getting power crept by all the other assassins in the game. You've got to think of like Mortis, Daryl. So again, he just gets displaced in the meta. There's no real point using him, but still, even if you wanted to use him, he's not even that great. Okay, that was one auto aim too many. But I think the only really use case for him, I think I've used him maybe on maps where throwers are good, and you want to counter like Barley, for example. But again, I'd rather just go someone else. I'd rather go Mortis, Daryl, more consistent assassins in the meta, rather than Miko every single time. So you know what, we're going to pop a hypercharge here. Let's see if we can actually connect onto any of them. We're going to go for this. I knew he was going to get jump. That's what I'm talking about every single time, and I didn't even get to Sandy in time, but at least we got the kill there. Again, I don't think he's like horrible. I think he's definitely like D tier though. I just think like there's just, again, better options than him in the meta. Let's slow down this Sandy. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this kill. Well, actually I am. And I'm just going to use the super just so I can start healing up in the air safely. Let's go back for the surge. He's probably going to jump the perfect time. Okay, didn't even perfectly time that. Beautiful. We're going to get a lot of value right there. My teammates should be able to make good use of that. And that should be the win pretty much. I mean, this is a good Miko map because there's just a lot of key areas where I can, of course, jump. Again, I think the only way I've seen a Miko, or even considered a Miko, is maybe as a last pick on Canal Grande, for example, to counter like Barley or Berry. That's it. I think even Larry is decent into Miko now. So unfortunately for you Miko mains, he definitely has fallen off. He needs like a damage buff, a hypercharge rework or something, because he just isn't that brawler anymore. So that's going to be the brawler that's fell off the most. So let's jump into another. Guys, jumping into the next brawler who has definitely fallen off a ton in this meta. It has to be Ruff. So even when I look at the casual data, it still isn't in the greatest of places. He's one of the least used brawlers in the game. His win rates are absolutely terrible as well in just casual play. But he's just not played in ranked whatsoever either. So, I don't know, just not really a place for Ruffs in the meta right now. I don't know, it just feels very lackluster. He's pretty squishy. His attack damage just isn't what it used to be. It's just not really a lot going for poor Ruffs. No, he used to always be like a good counter brawler. Like, he used to be able to open up the map pretty decently. But again, I just think throws are too good. I think there's also just better, you know, tank counters out there. And he doesn't really like... I would rather just go at brawler, you know, especially into a tank that can feed their hypercharge, whilst, you know, Ruffs doesn't even have one. So I think until Ruffs gets a hypercharge and all these other brawlers that have fallen off just get either hypercharge reworks or just hypercharges, I don't know, just don't really see Ruffs being that good, because the thing is, are we just going to keep buffing his damage over and over and over and over again? I don't think that's really the biggest problem with Ruffs. I just think he probably just needs a hypercharge, or maybe like a buff to his super, or just something like that. Like, it just, there isn't really much point using him. You can run all over him. And yeah, let's throw over a treat to my teammate. But I think this game is pretty much wrapped up. I don't think these guys can even stand a chance. Good thing is, here, at least I counter Surge with my sandbags. And again, I'm not saying he's terrible, but most of the time you can just pick something else. I will say he's probably near the D tier though. Like C tier probably at a stretch. I just don't really see a point using Ruffs. I think the only time that I really consider Ruffs a really good option is on like Hard Rock Mine, for example. And that's about it. Every other lane brawler just runs all over him. So he definitely has fallen off. Now let's jump into the final one. Okay, so jumping into the final brawler who I believe has fallen off in this meta, or just in the past few metas, it definitely has been Spike. So Spike received a damage nerf about 4 months ago, I think, which is only 4%. But boy, has he fell off. Like, considering even my randoms would go Spike everywhere, I don't even see my randoms go Spike. So that goes to show that he's bad for the casuals. He was already not even that great in the competitive play. Like, in terms, if you look at competitive data before the nerf, like, he definitely didn't even need nerf. It was more so because the casuals just kept abusing him. So yeah, Spike just terrible. He received the HP buff as well, and I just don't think that's the problem with Spike. You go Spike for the damage. Like, of course he's going to be squishy. He still is squishy, so it doesn't fix any of his problems whatsoever. And you should be able to see in this gameplay that, yeah, he is pretty hard to play, because I'm up against Meg and Gale. They have a lot of HP, but I just don't have the DPS to keep up. Of course, I've got a slow reload speed, and he just doesn't fulfill the role of a tank counter anymore. So, a bit unfortunate for Spike lovers, but I think he has been better for a long time. I don't actually remember the last time where Spike wasn't better. This is like the weakest he's been in a very, very long time. So, he probably is going to receive some buffs, let's face it. Spike literally is the golden child of Supercell. And yeah, he's always going to remain at the top. So probably next set of balance changes or the ones after. Like, he literally won't go 2 balance changes without a buff, surely. He's absolutely terrible right now. He's got to be like D tier. Absolutely. So yeah, I don't know. I think they should just revert the damage nerf, to be honest. I just don't think he really needed the nerf at all. Like, I won't call him for the nerf. Maybe the randoms were, maybe the gold players were, but I definitely won't. I mean, if we're talking about a nerf to Spike, it should definitely be with his curveball. But other than that, yeah, he definitely didn't need a nerf. So, yeah, I don't know whether we're going to win this game or not, because I've tried to play 5 games with Spike, I think, 4 or 5, and I just actually can't win. So I think he actually is terrible. I just thought maybe, maybe I'm bad, but he just doesn't have the damage output once he once had. I just give up. I can't win with Spike. I've tried and I've tried. And I just can't win with this brawler. He just absolutely sucks. And you'd probably think, oh, look, that's some good damage stats right there. No, it didn't matter, because I just wasn't able to keep up the consistent damage output. Like, I could have rather just gone any other brawler other than Spike in terms of the DPS brawlers. Even Griff would have been a better choice. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.